was Cap Lathrop, did he fund the building of like the MacKay Building in L Street? Or was
No,
that
no,
Al
he'd know.
Swallow's?
Al Swalling and Jack Clausen, who had worked for Cap for years, got the money for that. This was in 1952 when the Korean War was on, and they came out with these government participation loans that you could afford to build things like that. It's a good thing those guys built them because they overbuilt, or I wouldn't be sitting here. I was in the first floor of the McKinley building when the earthquake hit. It just took everything out of the inside of the, the inside of that building shook so hard that it broke up furniture in those upper apartments by banging back and forth. My office, all I did during the whole 4 minutes was try and push my filing cabinet back. It kept opening up and hitting me in the back of the head. So I had to push those things back, and I told myself, this is probably the end of Northern TV, because I was sure the antenna would have fallen over. So the first thing I did is I ran outside and looked up there, and it was there. It had the pipe had a little crick in it, but the antenna was okay. I went up the next day and found that one wire was broken, so I resoldered that, and we were back in business as soon as power gave bang. We were off the air. There was no equipment damage. One tube fell off the bench on the floor, but what got us off the air was water. All the pipes in there broke, all the plumbing in the building, it all came down through our studio. That transmitter was so wet we had to wait for the power to come back on to get it dried out, but we were back on in a week.
Wow, that was something, wasn't it?
But then we in order to work there was no heat in the building and no water, so we got oil stoves in there, and each one of the little offices we had 6 oil stoves, and stuck if you see the picture of the Tunaville trolley with the pipe out the back and then up, that's what it looked like out of the windows. And every time we got north wind, it'd blow back and blow smoke all over the place and soot. So what we finally did, we put a collector pipe around the side of the building and hooked it into the second floor up into the incinerator shaft. Then we did a 14-story chimney, and it worked fine. And in the studio, to keep that warm in between times, we had a space heater, which made too much noise, so we'd heat it up as best we could, then turn on the incandescents, which kept it warm, and then went on the air with Romper Room and Norma Show and stuff like that. We were there from March 64 until 2 years later in November when we moved out to Spinar. In the meantime, we built our broadcast center out there and moved. And we had to get licenses transferred too. KNIK-FM and KTVA had to be transferred. And we had to buy a new tower and put it up out there.